What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bully Movement Podcast, Episode 9. I'm Stats, California Supreme Bullies, and as always, my co-host Chucho from Mi Familia Bullies. Today, our guest is none other than the homie, Gold Blooded Kennels. Sal, what's up?
What's up, Sal?
Guys.
So we kind of get into every episode, you know, we get into like how you got started with dogs and just kind of a little background on you and directions you've went and why you went those directions and, you know, just a little background.
I'm going to try to keep it short because
It's
a lot.
Spill it. We want to hear it. Spill it.
So, I guess it kind of started, I always wanted a Frenchie. I just never really made the move to get a Frenchie because it was never really a priority. But I had run into, I had just got started with Instagram, so I remember starting my Instagram and I started like coming across Frenchie pages and this and that. And keep in mind, I had never really bred dogs.
Yeah.
But I always had a dog. Like, ever since I was little, like, we've always been around dogs. I just never bred them, but I always wanted a Frenchie. And I remember I came across Grinch. Shout out to Baylines, because that's the reason why I just kind of fell in love with that look, and that's exactly what I wanted. I knew exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know how much it cost.
Yeah.
Which, at the time,
You learned quickly.
The area.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, because it was a partnership, and shout out to my brother, because we do, honestly, every business, well, most of them, I would say 99% of them, we do it together.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we invested a lot of money in Don early on, and for the area, those numbers were unheard of. I remember clearly, too, like, I didn't really know stats like that back in the day. I knew who he was, and I've known Hav, shout out to Hav too, for hella years, and even them, they have been around dogs, and they tripped out on how much I paid them. Like, kind of crazy for that, but that's what I wanted, and it's kind of how I started.
Well, you wanted what? Because you gotta let our viewers know who. Not everybody knows who you picked up or what. You know what I'm saying?
So, I guess I gotta backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I remember clearly, I got invited to, what was it? George used to throw shows back in the day in the Bay Area.
Yeah, Invade the Bays.
I got invited to Invade the Bay. Mm-hmm. At the time, I already got bought a Frenchie from somebody in town who just wanted to get rid of him because they couldn't keep him. So it was $1,000 Frenchie. And,
yeah.
At the time, that's kind of what the market was for those dogs. Obviously, the kind of range, But anyway, so I had gotten this dog thinking, I'm like, all right, I got a Frenchie. But I kind of had an idea of the dog or the look that I wanted.
Yeah.
Once I came across Bayline's page. So I got invited to Invade the Bay, and I decided, I was like, yeah, this dog ain't it. So I placed him at a family member's home, and I was kind of like in the market for a female, without really knowing anything, because when I jumped in, there was no sense of direction. I never really spoke with anybody of like, hey, like you should buy a female, you should buy a male. It was just something that, honestly, by luck, I came across. What's his name? Tim. And shout out to Tim. It was the first person I ever did business with as far as, in the game.
Yeah, like a breeding style Frenchie. Yeah.
And I bought Trina, which, man, it's been so many freaking years, and I have terrible memory. But I bought Trina, which it was a pied female. Actually, a pied brindle.
Yeah.
And I remember he had this dog with him named Mr. Magoo. And I tripped out on him because the dog was already like he was about 10 months old, and I was just kind of tripping out on how compact, how small he was.
Yeah.
And that look was something that I had never seen in person, because the Frenchies back then, they were, they're a little bigger and girthier dogs.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying Trina. Fast forward, went to Bay to Bay, and I knew that I wanted to do this. I mean, like I said,
You're saying you knew you wanted to do
to
it
breed.
beforehand, or like once you got to the
Once I got
show,
to the show.
and you were like, oh shit.
Yeah, I seen people selling pups and this and that, and I just,
Yeah.
I like that environment. I was like, oh, this is kind of like
Yeah.
addicting. And to be honest with you, one of the things about me that it's good and bad, I have a really addictive personality. Once I like something, I really dig into it and I get into it.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme for a lot of us.
Yeah, it's a good and a bad trait because I remember coming home, I spoke with Chris, I was like, check this out, there's this page that I like. You know, I kind of been inquiring, and he happens to have one dog, and he wants this X amount of money, want to get in with me. And keep in mind, we come from business-oriented families that when we kind of were, you know, running the numbers, it just didn't make sense, but I just knew that I wanted this dog. So Chris got in with me, and we got Dawn. And from there, we went on a freaking buying spree because for the next 2 years, between me and my brother, we accumulated or we bought, I don't know, it was probably like, for sure, anywhere between, I want to say 10 and 12 dogs.
Yeah.
In about a year and a half span. And we were just buying, honestly, dogs that we liked because we didn't know much back then.
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't like a true direction. You were kind of just buying stuff that you liked.
No, I like the dog.
Yeah.
The number makes sense. Why not?
And you were buying all those with intentions of breeding. Had you made any money off of the dogs yet? Or
See, that's where it gets complicated and tricky because, like I said, we come from a family that knows how to, you know, conduct business. So it wasn't making any sense because we had spent all this money, and I'm talking about. Dawn was a third of the amount of money that we spent on dogs.
Yeah.
Just within a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I remember clearly, we were freaking stoked because we were getting ready to breed. We had all these dogs already, almost adult, you know, getting ready to start making some money.
Yeah, be in the game.
Yeah, like I'm ready. So for, I don't know, about a year and a half, 2 years, nothing but failed attempts at everything we did. From females not taking to losing entire litters. And we were just in the hole a ridiculously amount of money. Like, it was just insane.
Yeah.
Now, bro, it's hard to believe, honestly, because
Yeah.
I really don't see. At the time, I was like, how am I going to get out of this? There's no fucking way.
Yeah. Like looking at it, it felt like a mistake.
Yes and no, because I still wanted to do it, but
Okay.
I'm like, then this not making me any money. I'm losing money. Like,
Right.
We're so heavily invested that we have no other choice but to keep going.
Mm.
So it was just L's after L's after L's, and it was just getting, I mean, overwhelming because we also had businesses going. We had, you know, I mean, we had a family that we also had to basically, we had to distribute our time, and it was taking a lot of our time.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that didn't make sense. The amount of time being invested in it was just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, any breeder really knows that the time that you spent behind the scenes, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's full time.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah, because it got to the point where, like, well, now we had to find sitters for our kids, we got to find sitters for the dogs, we got to find somebody
To
you know,
do-
help us
to do
manage the
anything.
business. Yeah, when we're out of town. So yeah, it was definitely overwhelming, but obviously the sacrifices paid off, and you know, still doing it.
Yeah. So then, after all those L's and stuff like that, what was the breakthrough basically? Because obviously you're still here, and you know something had to go right at some point. So, what was kind of the breakthrough for you where you were like, oh, okay, I see, you know, some positivity here.
So there was a couple of litters in between where we got lucky enough that we had dogs available.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like, just not really making any money. I wasn't the type of person that just because I had a litter, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna capitalize on this. Nope. I decided to keep dogs to myself because I'm like, I'm gonna build off of this.
Yeah.
And at the time, like I said, we were just taking L's to where we were really deep in the hole that most people in my shoes would have been like, sell the litter.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. And
just for some clarity, like when we're talking deep in the hole, are we talking 6 figures in the hole?
close to.
Close to 6 figures in the hole? Okay. And this is, pre-pandemic, so
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
2017, 2018.
Yeah.
But like I said, one of the things that I've learned when you run businesses, you're gonna take L's, but the time being lost is something you'll never get back. So for me, that was a big issue because I had young kids and it was just taking up a lot of my time. But back to what I was saying, when I had small litters that were like, it could have been come up time, I decided to keep those dogs and I built off of them. That eventually wasn't seeing the picture at the time, but like looking back, like it just kept, how do I say it? It just kept getting better and better because the productions kept getting better.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that being said, I'm gonna be honest with you. My story, or how I look back at it, it's something that very few people can say, because I got very lucky. I mean,
You want to...
Don,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you, did so many things early on that a lot of it was just luck. Because how did I ended up with a dog that was just doing things back then that people were like, nah, that didn't come from that dog.
Yeah.
Because to clarify, and for the new people in the scene,
The new people in the chat.
Don is not a dog that would break necks nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, here in the area, it sort of did because the dog was small, compact, had a nice look to him, but he didn't have no fronts, he didn't have no bows.
Yeah.
He just had that signature headpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the productions that he was throwing, obviously, he had that consistent Grinch look that it's been a staple in the game,
Yeah.
and he kept throwing that consistently. But once in a while, when you put him with the right female, he would just throw freaks.
Yeah.
That it was hard to believe that they were coming off that dog.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, part of it was just luck. Actually, most of it was luck, but how we decided to handle the what do you call it, the kennel, in the direction that we wanted to go. It's different from that because, like I said, the dog could have been, obviously it was lucky, but it was a lot of luck. But if I would have wanted to part ways with everything that I got off the dog,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be here.
Right. Like if you would have sold off everything. Every time you made something, you sold it. Yeah.
Because to look back, I have dogs at the house that still come from Trina.
Yeah.
And it's just because we kept building off of that.
Yeah. So you had said something earlier that, you were buying dogs and stuff like that and with no direction. What was kind of the turning point of that where you were like, oh, okay, like this is what I'm chasing, or this is basically a direction I'm trying to go?
So obviously, the signature Grinch look is something that I always wanted.
Yeah.
But once I started producing it, I'm like, oh, I want to I want this look.
Yeah.
And from being in the scene and seeing the bullies and the way that they look, I kind of had an idea that that's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah.
But having no sense of direction, it was just kind of like, well, I want that, but how am I going to get there? I really didn't know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, and you'll learn is that you can throw two badass dogs, dogs that produce, and sometimes you get trashed.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's the real honesty because
Yeah.
I bred Dawn
I already know.
to one of the baddest bitches that you could have think of. Like,
You know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
If you bring this bitch out right now,
Yeah. She could hold her own.
oh, she can still be.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, she'll still win. Like,
Are we talking? It's a cream dog we're talking
Yes.
about? Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah.
and I'm like, fuck, I got this bad bitch that took me a while to get off. And I have Dawn. Dawn
Then-
is fucking.
And then
throwing.
not only that, took you a while to get her. Then she had issues breeding.
I bred her 5 times.
Yeah, had issues breeding. Spit out puppies before. I think like aborted puppies. It was she was not the easiest to deal
I want to
with.
say 2.5 years.
Yeah,
To get something off her, right?
yeah.
I remember seeing that bitch at the American Pet Hospital. You had her one time. That bitch was bad.
And then to do all that work, and then essentially not get the results you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's like,
You end up selling her to Texas though, or?
No, I ended up placing her in a pet home.
yeah.
Just because I'm like, honestly, like, I'm not gonna try this again. It took me 2.5 years to
Yeah.
get pregnant, finally get something out for her. And this is what I
Which
got.
to me that was a major that was a fuck up.
Yeah.
Like placing her, you should have just bred her a different direction.
I could have, but at the time, I still had hella dogs.
Yeah,
And the time invested on her for me to be like, one, she don't take, and if she takes, what if she loses them?
Right.
Because I had already treated her for pyometra twice.
right. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah,
So for me, I'm like, nah, honestly, we're gonna retire, she's gonna live a good life, and I'm gonna take my help.
yeah.
But
Better man than me.
yeah, it's because at the time, I mean, between me and my brother, we just
Overwhelmed with dogs.
yeah, overwhelmed. And it wasn't really overwhelmed, but we almost had to figure out like, all right, is it time? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Because time, it's. I mean, for most people, it's precious.
Yeah. Okay. So then, once he started producing a look and a direction that you were headed, what are some of the like things that you did to basically try and, improve and keep improving that look? Like, was there a specific like way of breeding or a blood you were using or just directions that you went where you seen success?
Yeah, I had seen a couple of productions off the Dawn, and I kind of knew that it was there.
Yeah.
I just had to look for it. And to be honest with you, one of the dogs that had it was Tay.
Yeah.
I got her off for you, and she was probably the first dog with the look that I wanted. And at the time, it was just kind of unseen. You wouldn't really run into Tays. Because
Yeah.
Tay for years. I mean, even till now, you bring that bitch back, like, she's going to break necks.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you see the look a little bit more now. But,
No, but Tay had something different.
yeah, for back in the day, like, yeah, that was...
Yeah. I would say that dog was a turning point for both of us.
Yeah, because
She got a lot of attention for us.
anywhere she went.
I think that was like one of the greatest productions that Don really like
Oh, for sure.
that helped him out, push him. You know what I mean? Because that bitch was crazy.
And that was one of the dogs, back to what I was saying, like, they couldn't believe that came off with Don.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, it turns out that Tay's mom was the producer.
Yeah.
But even looking
Or
at
a
her,
producer.
yeah, like looking at her and looking at Don, you're like, that ain't
How?
come from Don.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no way.
Yeah.
But unless you had been following the productions that Don was throwing, you're like, it's possible.
Yeah.
And trust me, I wasn't the only one that. Well, actually, Stats or us, we weren't the only ones that got crazy results off of using Don.
Yeah.
By the way, that little dog's still fucking
Still pumping.
still pumping. Yeah.
So tap in if you want to use Don.
Hey, I got a repeat by the way.
I was retired unless you got him locked in.
So something we've wanted to touch on, or something I've thought about touching on with you, is like we've heard, I don't remember if it was Isaac that really said it, but it's been said that you get a lot of credit, from us or whatever. You're getting a lot of credit for basically pushing the market to where it was, at a point when the market was at its peak. You're credited for pushing it there single-handedly, or I get, respectfully for Chris, but I'm saying single-handedly Gold Blooded Kennels was you know, a lot of people credit you, or at least the real ones credit you for pushing that market. What was the thought behind that, or how do you feel about that statement?
Well, honestly, it's humbling. But with that being said, I mean, honestly, I think the way I look at it is, you know, Joe was pushing. Joe was the one really doing, you know, those numbers. And there has always been this type of cloud to where, like, nah, possibly like he's lying, those numbers are being pumped up.
Yeah.
But when I started doing it, I really kind of followed what he was doing because, I mean, shout out to him. He coached me in a lot of things. And one of the things that, you know, how do I say it? Sometimes you feel like people are coaching, you're like, oh, it's not possible, it's not possible. But I feel like when all those breeders got to see what I was doing and he's like, oh, he's really doing it too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, you know, there was more, I guess people or breeders felt like, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started following, you know, certain things were like, well, you know what? Right now, people want this look. People want stuff of a Don. Like I said, I come from, you know, I know how to run a business, so I know that when people want something, you can't let them have it. Because if you let everyone have it, guess what?
Nobody's gonna want it no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So early on, I'm like, well, the only thing that you can do to, you know, supply and demand. That's it. You have a lot of supply. You know, and you got to know how to play your cards.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's probably what it was. You know, a lot of people saw that I was doing it because, like I said, I mean, I was new to the game. And even then, like, I'd only been breeding for maybe, let's see, backtrack, 4 years.
Yeah.
1.5. And for them to see, like, fuck, like, he's really doing it.
So, are you saying, basically you're saying that it's not necessarily that you were the one that pushed it, but you were saying like Joe kind of pushed those numbers, but maybe you got more recognition because it made it more how do you say, like, reachable for you know, I guess the average breeder, you know, respectfully. And like, you know, the other breeders like around us, it was like, oh shit, if Sal can do that, like, we can do that.
You know, like, for example, you.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can't really believe everything you see online. And I feel like a lot of the times, that was probably the issue with Joe, where people were like, I don't know, maybe he's doing something else, maybe this and that, right? So they weren't really seeing the dog money.
Yeah.
But once, like, for example, you or the people in my area were like, well, I know for that fact, he don't know dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really getting those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when people started realizing, like, oh shit, yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just stick to your guns.
Yeah.
I'd say that you probably pushed the ticket first on like stud prices.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he did it a little bit different. Because Joe at the time, he was doing the double up. And you as a businessman, you took it different.
I was doing the double up for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
But then you flat rated.
Basically, I just saw an opportunity. And there's been a couple things that, you know, like, I realized that at the end of the day, like, I gotta run things my way, because if anything ever goes wrong, like I know what to do.
Yeah.
So I was doing the double up for a while, but I'm like, hey, you know what? One of the things that I realized early on is, like, the double up ain't gonna work for everybody. It didn't work for me sometimes. It didn't even work for most people.
You're saying
Like the results.
The results, yes.
So you're investing, you know, say the stud fee was X amount, but now you got to pay double to breed back to it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the results ain't going to be there. So I knew that wasn't going to last.
Right,
Yeah.
right. People are going to be hip to that quick and be like, wait, hold on.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, that's when you're, as a businessman, you're like, all right, I got to change it before, like, it goes south.
Yeah.
And I recognized that early on, because I was just seeing all these people 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. And I'm like, nah, like, that ain't going to last. So,
Yeah.
you know, I just saw an opportunity, to be honest with you.
I feel like those times, like, kind of brought, you know, it was a time where, you know, a lot of us were you know, making a lot of money, and like, and I feel like when you started making different moves like that, I feel like it kind of created some like kind of like underlying animosity, you know, just within like the Grinch. I don't want to say community, but you know, like with Joe or like Rick at the time, or like, you know, this guy and that guy. When you started kind of doing your own thing, and I think now we can all kind of step back and be like, you know, and respect it, that it wasn't. And I would think, you know, Joe would agree, and you know, everybody got to do their own thing. And yeah, I'd say you definitely pioneered, you know, that no double up but high price stud fee across the board, no matter who, which female you brought.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just kind of saw an opportunity where I'm like, this is where I can't really say branch off, but almost do my own thing, to where I start doing, you know, bringing my own mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always best to me. Like you know, because obviously, like we've all done things in the game that didn't work, or like were short lived and stuff like that. But at least you could kind of, you know, hang your hat on the fact that you did it your way.
Yeah, and more than anything for me was like, you know, when we're talking about, you know, these numbers and what Don was doing and what we were doing as a kennel.
Just to cut you off on that real quick. Obviously you can do whatever you want, but I would say we stop saying these numbers and stuff, and we start actually giving the community like some numbers about with like stud fees and stuff like that.
There's a couple things that I'd rather just kind of keep to myself.
Yeah.
Like that, as far as numbers go.
Okay.
Numbers, they might be hard to believe.
No
And
shit.
to be honest with you,
But at least stud rates.
Yeah, stud rate. Oh, hey, they can't
Because the
believe
stud
it
rates
because
are
I paid it.
Because the stud rates are still, I mean, kind of high, but like,
Not that high.
you know,
well, I mean, to be honest with you, like with Don, it got to a point where he was making $25K a stud.
yeah.
And I paid one.
And that
Believe it
was
or not.
that was I feel like he was the first at that number.
Yeah, he was.
I'm not too sure on that because it's been a couple of years.
It's hard to say.
No,
yeah.
I think he
But
was.
whether he was the first one or not, what I'm proud to say is that Devo did the same. Not the same amount of stud credits being sold,
Yeah.
but he hit those numbers. He hit the 25.
Oh, Debo was at 25 also?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And so that's one of the things that, like, you know, I take pride in because I did it twice. Now, obviously, the market completely shifted and things changed, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things that I'm kind of proud of, that I was able to do it twice with two different dogs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and those dogs are still you know, relevant to this day. Like, you know, Debo, like we talk about Hustle Hard a lot.
Yeah.
And Hustle Hard, who, you know, his dogs and some of his productions right now are doing very well. You know, shout out Moko. He has Booger over there. He just won, you know, the Maui Madness, and that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, man.
And
People still around? I got a repeat for him too.
Debo's in a lot of those pedigrees.
Yeah.
Because of, you know, Hustle Hard used them, correct?
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Is Bomba's off of a Debo daughter, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, like, talking to other breeders, it's funny because there's similarities in the pedigrees from Hustle Hard and some of my good stuff.
Yeah.
And we were actually talking about that
Yeah.
show, remember?
A lot of Saga,
Yeah.
Dogtown stuff, right?
No.
Well, the Saga. That's
The Saga. Okay, the
that's
Saga.
Kinda, yeah, that was actually another big whale too. Like at the time, shout out to Rudy. He had the Splash Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
We touched that subject when I ran into him at the last show, and we were kind of just, you know, talking about it, how I had about I think it was second pick at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent a good little freaking amount on that dog because I wanted a lilac dog.
Yeah.
But I knew that Saga had, you know, was working for me at the time, and the dog died at 7 months. Big OL.
Yeah.
Never got to breed her. But no, yeah, there's a
lot of similarities in breeding styles, or I guess just peds.
the pets.
Peds.
Yeah.
You had a boy over there that turned out to be a hell of a producer too, though. That boy Bang.
Yeah, so Bang was off of damn, I have to backtrack. My memory's terrible right now.
Bang is off of Misha and
Misha comes from Pristina,
Yep.
Dawn.
Dogtown.
Dogtown.
Shout out to Vince too.
Shout out to Ryan.
Bang had a saga in Dogtown. You know,
Who was Bang's dad?
Bang's dad was Vince's dog. Well, I think Tim. I know him as Tim. I think he ended up calling the dog with them.
The dad?
Yeah, the dad. Fuck, man, it's kind of bothered me.
I was talking to him about that dog the other day.
Well, like,
I don't remember his name.
Damn it. Was it Ruger?
Yes.
I think it was Ruger.
I feel like it was Ruger.
I think it was Ruger because at the time I went to go see Vince, and I wanted to use there was Ruger and there was another boy, I can't remember his name, and I ended up using Ruger, and I got Bang off of him, and Bang honestly turned out to be. I mean, it's kind of hard to say hell of a producer, but he got bred twice.
Now I feel like he was, because he's in a lot of fucking pedigree.
Yeah, he's in pedigrees right now of dogs that are like you know, that are talked about or like people, you know, recognize.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he got bred twice. Freak accident too. Dog died.
Are you talking about Bang himself?
Bang.
Yeah.
Really, he died? I thought you just gave him away.
No, he died. He died.
You know what's crazy? One of my boys bred to him in Stockton, and I was talking to him the other day. He's like, "I have a Bang daughter right here. Who should I breed her to?" And I'm trying to get her so bad off him, but he ain't trying to budge. He's like, "Nah, she's my daughter's dog." I'm like, "Fuck." I'm trying to buy that bitch though.
Yeah.
Banging what? What's the other?
It was just a random bitch. It was
just a couple dogs that came off of it. And honestly, anything that has Bang in my yard,
yeah, is a
it
hit.
looks good.
Yeah.
It looks good. It produces well. And the other two people, two people got to use them outside the yard, but I know that Bang right now is in a couple, you know, talked about dogs. That are, you know,
for sure.
Yeah, he's off. So, Bang produced Chivo, right? Chivo's littermates to Loba, right?
No, he's Lobo's dad and War Machine's dad. Oh,
okay. So yeah, War Machine and Loba, and then of course, is Loba who produced that litter?
Yes.
Yeah, they bred Loba to Bane, and then that's what created like Hobbs Jelly Bean and all that. And then another dog that's kind of gaining a little traction in the area right now is like War Machine, and War Machine's off that blood. Obviously, there's other bloods in there too. You know, we're not saying that. You know, we know people get real uptight when you start talking about dogs, but yeah, he's in some.
Lie, though.
Yeah, he's in some peds right now of dogs that are relevant.
Yeah.
So.
There's a dog though I wish I would have bought too off Wicked. I remember I did put a deposit on her. It was Chivo Littermate's sister.
Yeah.
I wish I would have bought that bitch too.
I wonder if he still has her.
He does. I was talking to her about the other day.
Oh yeah. Sheesh. Just over there rotting.
Yeah.
I got love for Ivan. Ivan's my boy, but man, he's letting some dogs rot over there. It's disgusting.
The Bolo daughter comes off of that.
Yeah.
It's a combination of Bang. Obviously, a lot of other stuff, but Bang and Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
It's a little cocktail.
How you like that Bolo daughter over there?
Pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't got that many dogs right now because just doing a bunch of other things, but we have a couple of dogs between me and my brother that they look good. We're hoping they're gonna produce just as well as they look. Well, at least that's what we're hoping for.
That bitch muscle definition, she reminds me a lot like Gigi's.
Oh yeah, no, she's
a
ripped
lot.
up. But you know what? Like, I obviously the muscle, it's something that really stands out about her, but her dome piece, it's different.
It's different, huh?
I
Yeah.
really like it.
How's this? How's the littermate sister doing?
I still have her.
Yeah.
Do you have her or Chris has her?
I have her.
You have her?
I still have her.
So I know you've been busy and you kind of been, tucked off from the dog game, but is there anybody right now that, like, I guess has your attention or that has, dogs that maybe you're looking to use or looking to incorporate, or, just anybody that has your attention right now out there?
There's actually quite a few people, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I've just been so caught up with other stuff that I'm almost out of touch
Yeah.
outside my yard, or
Yeah.
unless the people I really talk to, often.
Yeah.
But there is a couple dogs out there that have grabbed my attention. I want to use, but if you know me, I'll wait until somebody uses to see how they're producing. 'Cause I go off production, it's not looks.
Drake. Is that who you're talking about?
Oh, there's a couple dogs out there
Okay.
that I really want to use, but I'm gonna wait
Yeah.
and see how they're being used, because there's people out there that have very similar. Well, they have similarities in pedigrees,
Yeah.
and I want to see how that works,
Yeah.
Okay.
just from a business standpoint.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But no, there's absolutely, honestly, right now, the dog game for me, I've just been kind of like on the outside
Yeah.
looking in, and it's turning out to what, not that I expected, but I envisioned, at least in my yard, and I'm seeing it in other people's yards. So it's kind of exciting because it's not something to where a couple years back, you went into a dog show and it was just like waste of time. Like, fuck, why did I even
It's a
come
bunch
all
of
the way
bullshit.
here?
Bunch of bullshit.
And right now, it's still a bunch of bullshit, but you see a lot.
But it's
of
getting
shit.
better.
Yeah,
No,
It's
it's
getting
getting
better.
better.
Yeah.
You can go and check a couple boots and like, oh shit, okay, like.
Yeah.
So it's exciting because now I know, like, all right, like it's not just me, like it's out there.
Yeah.
So I know everybody right now, it's kind of scared to get back in it, or at least move full throttle. But I feel that this is the time, and it's been the time.
Yeah.
And speaking, I guess on my behalf, like I kind of just I've been really busy, but I don't want to call it quits because I enjoy this.
Yeah.
And what I built, it's not something that I can just call it quits and then come back and say, like, all right, let's go. Because one thing I understand is that, and I've been saying this, is the people that are just kind of calling it quits and saying, oh, there's no money in it right now. One of the things you got to understand is that it's going to come back. But either you're going to have to pay for it to get back where the game is right now, or you got to do it yourself.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean,
I'm trying to like push the game forward. You know what I'm saying? Not even necessarily get back to right here. I'm trying to push it forward and be ahead when it,
but yeah,
rolls.
either you pay for it or you're gonna be the one, selling
Yeah.
it. So,
100%.
I mean, and to be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie, man. It's almost a good thing.
Yeah.
People have been getting out because
Yeah. Well, weeds out.
it weeds
Yeah.
out everybody that was just in it for the wrong reasons.
Right. Yeah. No. 100%. You had, basically self-admittedly right now been out of touch with the game and kind of whatever. And I will say that was kind of one of my, I don't want to say concerns, but like for the audience or whatever, like not everybody's going to know who you are because you've been out of touch and
Yeah,
stuff
you've
like
been out.
that. So that's why, with that being said, that's also why I wanted to bring you on to kind of talk about some of the older stuff and pushing the lines and the numbers that were got and the dogs that were produced and stuff like that, because a lot of people don't. We touched on the last episode, like a lot of people don't look at peds. They don't know where dogs came from. They don't know where numbers came from. You know what I'm saying? Where just business styles and business models, basically. And that's why I wanted to get you on here to kind of talk about some of those things and give your story about the who, what, why, and where you got to where you are.
No, yeah, and I appreciate it. And to be honest with you, just like how everything I guess not everything good lasts for a long time, or you know, everything comes to an end. And
Right.
I can't say it almost came to, well, it might have came to an end a couple years back, because to be honest with you, like I feel like I'm finally getting like moving forward when in the dog game, because it was about a year and a half ago to 2 years. Oh, it was about a stretch of about a year and a half where it literally felt how when I got started, it was just bad luck, bad luck, bad luck after bad luck. I mean, I'm talking about, it was. I remember clearly. It was almost. It's gonna be 2 years in September where I lost dogs, 3 dogs, back to back to back, one day after another. And it was just on some random freaky shit. Like, for example, there was a dog that I had bred, and I'm like, oh, she's getting big. I'm like, cool, like. But it was a little concerning because looking back at the days, I'm like, damn, this bitch is only day 20 something, and she looks like she's about to pop. Which, as a breeder, you're kind of excited, like, oh, that's a big litter. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know.
It was abnormal.
So I took her to the vet, bro. They had to put her down the same day. Her liver had ruptured, and that's what she was basically just
Leaking and stuff. That's
she was
crazy.
honestly, Dr. B just called me and said, honestly, I don't know how this dog is standing. I mean, either you take her home, she's gonna die on you in a couple days, today, I don't know, or you want to just end it. I'm like, fuck, put her down. Then one of my biggest losses to this day, I mean, the very next day, I lost Wheezy. And Wheezy, for those that never really got to see him, because honestly, outside of our group, I want to say maybe like 5 people seen him.
Yeah.
He never made it to a show as an adult, and for me, that was such a huge L, because I had finally produced a stud that it was kind of, I'm like, all right, this was gonna get me back in, because I went through a stretch of year and a half where I was just losing dogs, losing litters, bitches not taking.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I was like, fuck, like I'm fucking, I can't say I'm done, but I'm like, it's just like
Kind of deflates the tires a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it does.
like, damn, do I even want to keep doing this? I question it. Like, I mean, fuck. The very next day, I lost another fucking bitch over some random shit. Like, and it was just.
Yeah.
It was honestly very tough, and I feel like I'm finally, moving forward. Where I've had a couple of litters. I got, dogs that I'm like, all right, I can do something with this again. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why I kind of almost just kind of, I guess, stopped going to shows, stopped posting, stuff like that, because I didn't have nothing new.
Yeah.
For me to show up with the same shit, I'm like, it gets boring. And no disrespect to anybody, but I'm like, if you bring in the same dog for 2-3 years and you ain't got nothing new, like, honestly, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because you can have a successful litter, kill it, but I want to see you do it again.
Ooh,
Do it again.
that statement right there. That's.
And I'll be honest
about to
with you,
clip
like,
that.
honestly, like, I just love the game, but what gets me excited,
Oh, man.
it's literally seeing people like do it over and over. I'm like, with different shit sometimes, because
Yeah.
honestly, this dog game, like I said, I got lucky, part of it, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it, and majority of it, is luck.
Hell yeah, it is.
But honestly, it's educated luck,
Yeah.
and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I've seen it happen where, years. I've been doing this we were just talking about it, 2016. So, I mean, you do the math.
Yeah.
And I've seen over the years where people are like, oh, fuck, someone's at the top. All right. But then that's it. Boom, they're gone, because as a breeder, something happens and boom, they're gone, because as a breeder, you got to stay relevant. You can't live off the shit that, you produced years ago.
And you can only stay relevant
for so long.
Well, you can only stay relevant by continuing to produce nice dogs. Yeah, like you said, you can't keep showing up the same dog. It's like,
All right. Like, what else you got?
yeah.
So for me, that's how I felt. Why am I gonna go to a dog show and bring the same dog that I brought to the same show a year ago? To me, it's a waste of time. And honestly, like, I have customers and honestly people that I do business with, and it's like, all right, well, what else can you do? Because it's gonna get boring. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the dog was nice 3 years ago, and it's still nice. But if you can't bring something different or do it again, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of it is kennel blindness. That's really what it is. And that's one thing that I can probably say I never been blinded, because there's stuff that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give it some time. But if it ain't working out, I'm not gonna make it work. I did that early on, and the only thing you do is go backwards. You waste time.
Yeah.
And that's something that don't get back.
And I'm laughing because, like, some of the things that you said right there and stuff are gonna, we had a situation in the last podcast, like, people love to put the shoe on, and even when it's, and I know that you're not speaking about anybody in particular.
Because I said this is me.
Just generally speaking, but somebody's gonna want to put that shoe on that's been showing up with the same dog and is gonna feel like it's a shot.
The thing is that, honestly, like I said, I've been doing this for so long now that, I'm pretty sure other people will agree.
Yeah.
To be real, I disagree with that, because like you just said it yourself, and I hate to tell y'all, but 90% of these motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they're doing in their kennel plan.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those 90% of the ones doing it, honestly, ain't doing it right now. They got out. The 10% are still doing it.
Or they still have a page.
Yeah.
They still have a page. They still maybe post here and there, but they ain't in it.
Yeah.
They ain't in it.
They ain't still rocking. They don't still have that same fire in them.
And like I said, that statement was more based on my perspective, because I'm like, I was known for throwing dogs every year, bro. Like every year I have different bitches like that. And see, that's the problem with me. Like in my kennel, like I can produce fucking bitches that are gonna fucking break necks. I can't put a fucking testicles on them, bro. Like I can't produce stuff. So when I had Weezy, I'm like, fuck, I finally got my break. But
It's so fucking hard. Y'all both are gonna agree with this. It's so fucking hard to fucking produce this stuff. This shit ain't easy.
And the weird part is that, honestly, it's luck, because you produced the dog, but it happened to be a bitch. You didn't dictate the sex.
Yeah.
But imagine, and that's where it is with me, because I have two bitches at the house right now that if they have nuts, bro, I'll be glad to show up any show. But I can bring
It
the
feels
bitch.
different.
Yeah, no, and when it's a stuff, because I can show up with a nice female, like, all right, she's nice, but I can't do shit with it.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. No, it definitely feels different when it's a stud, and like you were saying, producing a stud is way harder. I think I had told you, like, I'm so tired of producing studs because it's so stressful.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather produce females right now, and hear me out, because it's like I could produce like a litter full of nice females, and I can accept them for what they are. Like, basically, I can look at them and be like, oh, she's nice. Like, I could use her. Like, I can work with all that. But with the stud, you can't do that. Like, there's no like, oh, he's nice. Like, it's like, no, he has to be it.
Because you've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, but it's just, that's how everybody
So
should.
I would want to be in your shoes, and I'm pretty sure you probably want to be in my shoes with the females. I'll try to stuff, but the thing is that, honestly, really, when we look at it like that, and a different perspective too, is that it's our mentality, and it's a fucked up mentality, because we're never satisfied.
Oh, that's terrible.
And honestly, for me, just in life, that's just how it is. I apply to everything. It honestly is, it's fucked up, because you can have it all and you want more.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that right there, you almost have to come and honestly learn how to be at peace with what you have sometimes, and be content to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
Because
you gotta find happiness somewhere. You gotta find happiness somewhere.
Exactly. But that's just how it is in life. Everything I want the best, and I always want to be the best.
Yeah.
And I'm not competitive with anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. Like, if you know me, bro, I've never been competitive with anybody. I'm competitive with myself. I like to push myself to the limit, to where, like,
It's crazy because, like, I respect that, but I'm so competitive with everyone.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I just can't, because
I get what you're saying.
No,
For me,
you're a better person than I am.
But for me, I'm the biggest critic to my dogs, though.
Oh,
that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like, I have a dog at home, Bubbles. He fucking loves her.
Yeah.
And there's a few things I hate about the bitch, but he's like, nah, this bitch is it.
Yeah.
But it's for me, it's like, nah.
But that's the thing, though. Like, honestly, like, right now, you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
Trying, bro. It's fucking.
And to be honest with you, like, Stats has been killing it, right? But now both of you guys are killing it. But it's that mentality that has taken you there. Because imagine, like, a couple years back, like, say, rewind time. You guys produced X dog.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys just decide, this is it. I got it. Yeah. You guys wouldn't be here. But it's that mentality that allows you to keep growing and moving, because you're never content.
Yeah, and it's overall breeding knowledge. There was something I wanted to touch on. So I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and we were talking about two studs, okay, and they were giving me a comparison of these two studs. I'll say it right now. It was Hulk and Booger, because there was a controversy. It was a competition, but then there was a controversy.
See, I'm so out of touch.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know what's going
To
on.
be honest, I'm kind of out of touch with it too, like, because I don't really pay that stuff no mind. But just from what I've heard, there was a controversy, but there was definitely a competition, and it was Booger and Hulk, and this particular person was kind of telling me, like, oh, like, you know, kind of out with the old, in with the new type thing or whatever. Which, I mean, that to me, that I don't really, yeah, whatever. But he was telling me, he's like, so Stats, tell me you had a female right now in heat. Who are you gonna go and breed it to? He's like, yeah, and basically he's kind of leaning towards Booger, and he's like, who you gonna breed it to? And I'm like, well, it depends on the female.
100%.
So, and he's like,
What
not
do you mean?
kind of not, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
what do you mean?
He's like, yeah, but who are you gonna breed it to? Like, literally reiterated saying that, and I was like, it depends on the female. And then right there, when after I said it the second time, a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, oh, that's the difference between me and
you.
everyone else,
Yeah.
or a lot of people.
A lot of people.
You know what I'm saying? Is that they will see Booger in the, you know, and shout out to Booger, shout out to Mocha, all love and respect. Like, don't get me wrong, the dog's super nice, but that's not how breeding works.
No, don't.
You don't just go and breed to a dog because it's nice, or has a spotlight,
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, you breed strategically.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something earlier that I fucking loved, and I'm gonna fucking use it from now on. But I'm gonna put trademark. So, but educated luck.
Yeah.
You breed strategically, and that creates educated luck.
It's just gambling.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but basically that's the difference between breeders and people that are just putting two dogs together. And I told that guy I was gonna call him out on that. So. But
No, 100%. Though you gotta go with what your female's liking for, though.
yeah, I mean, there's many methods to breeding, but just going to a hot stud that's nice is definitely not the method.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this conversation was based on looks.
I'm looks, popularity. I don't know, because I don't know.
No, I'm kind of like, trying to imagine the way he was thinking. Like, he was probably going based off maybe the look that he wants or he's shooting for.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure the intent behind it. Well, this particular person was going and breeding the Booger.
Oh,
At
okay,
that
so
time,
yeah,
too.
yeah,
But
his mindset already.
Did you see the female?
yeah.
Would you would have rather to burger?
It's not a bad breeding. It's a good breeding. To be honest with you, like, I don't really know much about the female as
Yeah.
far as the blood and stuff. So like he told me some things, but I don't remember. And then but yeah, I'm sure it'll be nice, and I'm sure that it'll work out. Booger's a nice dog. He comes from nice dogs.
Mhm.
But basically what I was just getting at is, like, that's not the way to attack breedings, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Humbly. What do I know?
Yeah, but that's what sets people apart.
Yeah.
Or kennels
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
100%. I remember when I went to the West Coast Booty Expo, I had Yola stacked next to. I mean, she was on the table next to the little tag, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm never gonna get that soon."
Look at you.
Yeah. It should have came.
It just, honestly, one of the things that I just kind of realized in life is, and you can apply to anything, is sometimes it's just not your time. And the way I look at things right now, are like, the ups and downs, and where it's and downs, just look at it as not my time. Now, sometimes it's really hard to accept, because I was just telling them when I lost Weezy, bro, like, I can honestly say that, it took me over a year to where I'm like, if I would have just done this different, but it's just so dumb, because, like, you gotta almost accept it, like, hey, like, if this don't, like, there's basically, how do I say it? Once you look back at things, you realize that almost things sometimes happen for a reason, and then you see the big picture. Because this happened to me a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Where like I don't understand it, and I still don't understand it right now because I ain't done shit like since then, right? I have females, but I know that once I look back at it, I'm like, all right. So if he would have been around, I would have bred him to this. I probably wouldn't have this now. And to be honest with you,
I've done that.
it's how it is right now with the 2 bitches I got.
I've literally had that same exact conversation about Kobe. Like if Kobe would have been alive, I wouldn't have did this breeding. I wouldn't be where I am today.
Exactly. So
I would have been better.
it's cloudy at the time, but once everything settles and you look back and you're like,
That's one thing about this fucking game. You're not gonna never stop losing.
Oh,
I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Out of 15 puppies, I got 6 puppies left.
Yeah, it's been rough over here on this side. You know, we don't necessarily always talk about it. We're not fucking posting every time something bad happens. But trust me, trust and believe. If you're out there and you're feeling like fuck, like just one thing after another, I promise you, we're right there with you. Yeah. We've taken L's in the last couple weeks that like would crush people. I promise you.
I took a huge L Friday too. So it's just part of this fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, L's are part of the game. You know, I took a big L that, you know, I hate to say it was part of the game because, you know, I feel at fault, but, you know, it is what it is. You can't do nothing about it. But I also don't. For me, it's hard for me to be like it's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? On my particular situation. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. We all take L's, and we've been taking major fucking L's over here.
But honestly, like really, what separates an L is if you learn from it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're gonna keep making the same mistake, and you're not gonna see. That's the problem. Dude. A lot of people are making the same mistake over and over and over, and they're like, "Why is it not working?"
Yeah.
But when you look at it from a different perspective, and you just kind of step out and be like, "Oh, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong." Trust me, like things will change.
Yeah.
And it's just a cycle. 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down.
Yep.
And it's just how you get back up.
It's crazy. So I went from not losing no puppies to just fucking boom, losing fucking over fucking 10 puppies in less than a month.
And some of them like even older puppies, you know, like not like little 10-day-old puppies, you know that.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I got a little too comfortable because this has been a nice little break that just getting back in it when it comes to whelping, I'm like, fuck.
Well, not looking forward to that.
Yeah. I've learned that you gotta do it.
Yeah. No, it's good. I'm glad we got you in here too. I hope that, you know, it kind of, you know, like some fire.
No, the fire is still going. It's just like I said, it's yeah, but that's the thing. So I gotta get a couple things going that I've been working on the side, and once that settles, to be honest with you, like I have a lot of ideas and things that I wanna do once I really get back in it. Like I can't say 100%, but I guess get it going again.
Yeah.
And there's a couple ideas that I'm gonna apply that we'll see how they work.
Yeah.
It's just I know that right now the way things are set up, it's coming. It's coming. I honestly waiting for the 2 bitches to come in and eat.
What's up with Chris?
Well, he still got dogs too. Yeah, he still got dogs. As a matter of fact, if everything goes well, we're gonna confirm a litter tomorrow that we didn't think that was gonna happen, and it looks like the bitch still can. The bitch is fucking great.
Yeah. Nice.
So we'll
It's
see.
crazy because I almost feel disrespected right now because I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Dude, what bitch is it?
Remember that Tubbs daughter?
Oh shit! She damn for real?
I know exactly. He bred to me. Right? Is that what we're talking about?
I'm pretty sure. I'm like, cause honestly, like, we got so much shit going on between me and him as far as business that we forget that.
Yeah, he
I
bred
go
to me.
I go over to my brother's house.
They better do.
I have to check, bro. Cause I swear, like, I go over to his house and I forget he has dogs because we got so
You
much.
talking about
shit
8 Ball's litter my sister?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I forgot we did that. She looked like she took.
I sent him a video earlier. because he's been supposed to confirm her. And,
Nice. I totally forgot about that.
Damn, that's dope as fuck.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's dope
So-
as fuck.
and see, that's the thing though. Like, we're talking about a dog that was, what,
3 years old.
years old?
3, almost 4 probably.
No, she's probably 4 with. She's probably 4 years
Bro,
old.
we
First
had never
time.
been able to catch her in heat. And if she was going in heat, maybe we're just
Probably
there was a
4 years old.
sign, whatever it was. But
And she finally came in heat. Or you guys finally caught it.
Yeah.
It's crazy though, cause who was I asking? Was I asking you? Like, what happened to that tough daughter?
Yeah, no, that's bad. That bitch.
I
It's,
wish you did take.
yeah.
That's how Lola, no? It's Tubbs and Lola.
Hey,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
bro. That,
I know it's
it
Tubbs
is.
and Lola because the litter makes black and you didn't have any other black dogs, so
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah,
way you
it's
do a black dog.
Tubbs and Lola. That stupid bitch ate on her took from me.
That's crazy. That's dope. I hope she did take.
Yeah, so we got a couple things going.
Bro, that dog's this big.
I know,
I don't
that dog is honestly, and no disrespect to the people that are into that look, I'm not really a big fan of fighting little dogs, but I know that if you bring her out to the show, people would not believe she's fucking that age because the dog looks like to be 4 months old.
Yeah, it looks like a puppy.
Yeah, and
I hadn't seen
when
it.
you
should've seen her next
we
to
have
Like, it was crazy.
bred and we brought out dogs that are tiny, but the bitch is on another level tiny.
Yeah.
And there's substance to her, like she has nice little spread.
That's insane.
Like it.
I didn't even see this. I didn't even see this bitch. I'm gonna come through tomorrow and check her out.
Yeah. So just keeping fingers crossed, but no, yeah, we're working on stuff. It's just more we do things a little bit different now because back then when things were hot, we were always constantly posting and this and that, like anything. And now I've just kind of learned, like, you know what, like if I ain't got nothing for soap, like so chill. And
With that being said, a word of
it's a
advice.
bad-
A word of advice. You have to stay active and relevant
Oh, I know.
because the traffic does slow down.
And to be honest with you, like I've gotten to a point where I can't really say that I don't care if I don't sell, because in the time that shit has not been happening for me the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
I've learned that I want to do this. I'm still doing this for myself.
Yeah.
So it's a bad habit because I need to be out there like posting, showing my face, bringing shit out.
Right.
But-
Liking, commenting, just
Right,
being
but-
active.
It's just for me, like if it don't sell, I still gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, this shit-
it's for me.
To be real, so this is just a hobby for you.
Yeah.
Like you got real businesses going on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So, but don't get me wrong.
Even though you made substantial
Yeah, no,
money,
don't get me wrong.
out
It
of
is, yeah, but I just need to be more on it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it.
Do it the right way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just preaching about this.
Yeah.
But
I feel like there's another breeder, and I feel like you two are kind of in the same boat right now. He's a little more active with stuff, and I don't want to mention names. I want to feel like it's a shot. It's just
Right.
it's just an observation from me. But when you go on a hiatus and you go MIA, like your page is affected.
oh, I know.
Huge.
100%.
Oh, I know.
The traffic, the views, the likes, the comments, the everything. And like essentially those likes, comments, views, and traffic in general, like that is your business.
Yeah, that's it.
So
You can go to dog shows too.
No, I know.
yeah.
Even bring those bad bitches you got tucked, bro.
Yeah, but at the same time, like being on the page, it kind of goes back to like that. 3 dogs at the house.
Yeah.
People are gonna be bored of me posting the same dog over and over.
Well, that, and then even if you're not posting, fuck, I'm sure some people hate it or whatever, but I mean, I post fucking coffee videos sometimes. Like I post,
If you see my page, I be posting random shit.
yeah, you just have to, keep your page active,
No, yeah,
basically.
for sure.
Like I said, the likes, the comments, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know who I'm referring to when I'm saying the other breeder?
No.
I'm trying to think too, but
Oh.
like I said, I'm not even relevant.
To me, it's easy. It's easy. Who's? We'll talk about it off camera.
I think I know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just you have to stay active. Because if you don't stay active, then you're gonna be really discouraged when you actually have something and you come back and it's not getting the recognition you believe it should get.
Yeah, that's something I talked to somebody on the phone today too, about that too, because I've seen a couple people post a few dogs up for for sale, or you know what I mean.
Mhm.
This is not throwing shot at nobody, but like the amount of times they posted those dogs and they're not sold yet is because of like I told him, I was like, they're not active enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not out.
Yeah.
Because 2 years ago, they would have been gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
And we're talking about the same person.
yeah.
I think I know exactly what
Yeah, we're talking about the same person.
Yeah.
And with that, and I'm not trying to, and I'm not throwing shade. Like I got nothing but love for this person. You know, make no mistake, nothing but love for this person. But with this, you cannot be 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
No. And I was telling this person, I was like, see, that type of shit right there is proving his point, and it's gonna make him step out completely now, because he's not seeing it turn out.
So then it's like, what's the point of doing this?
Yeah, that's what I was telling this person. I'm like,
I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully
Mhm.
that's not the route. But you know, I'd like to see him continue. He has nice stuff. He's done nice things, and
it just I was like, man, I hope that's not pushing them even further out. Cause
yeah. And like I said, let me reiterate, I got nothing but love for this person. So if you feel like the shoe, if you even watch this and you feel like the shoe fits or whatever, it's nothing but love. Like when I say it, it's almost like I truly mean it as constructive criticism, not as, you know what I'm saying, not as shade, not as a shot, nothing like that. I mean it as you know, I mean it as constructive criticism.
I've talked to him about it. You know, what I mean, he has his opinions. He's to each their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you gotta show the people the product nowadays.
Yeah.
You gotta put it in their face.
Yeah. And he's saying like you need to show up to shows and shit like that.
You got,
Which is, I know it's like, that's kind of,
I get it with females now. You know what I mean?
but even with it, just show, bro. Sometimes,
Something.
okay, I'll say it like this. Even with the podcast, like when we first got started and stuff like that, even the recognition of that brought the traffic.
To be real, even a female could bring you money though.
That's what I'm saying.
We were taking pictures yesterday.
Yeah.
And the person that you took pictures for, like, I seen Pinky at an Apple show, and that made me buy a dog off you.
I guarantee you that Hav can vouch that he's taken Jelly out, and because of Jelly, people have waited for
Well, I mean,
those
I know
puppies.
exactly what you were saying. That was me.
Yeah.
Because I was just talking about it. I haven't really produced studs.
Yeah.
But going to the shows, all I took was females. Now, the difference was that I was bringing different females.
Yeah.
You know, but no, the females for sure. I mean, like I said,
I mean, the females you have, though, no one's really seen. So
well, yeah, and that's the thing too. But one of the things I'm just kind of hoping that, you know, this thing settles a little bit, and then I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get on it to where I can't say I'm gonna get back to how I was, like
You're
when I
gonna
was
step
really
up.
doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be, you know, doing
Yeah.
more work, and I've been trying to make it a couple of shows, but man, right now just got so much going on that it's like, fuck, I can't make it.
And that's kind of a, you know, when we go to like, then we go and touch on like the home team thing. For me, like personally, it's like it got to a point to where it was like, why am I doing like the home team thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I feel like, you know, like you're not really. It's kind of where you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or fucking, you know, Alex is like, you know, more. He don't even really do Frenchies no more. Alex is you know, still actively breeding like bullies and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I was like, okay, fuck this, I'm gonna push me.
No, yeah,
Because I felt like I was diving headfirst in while everybody else was kind of taking a break.
No, I see it, but you know, I hope that soon I'll be able to just kind of get back. Like I said, not to where I was when I was just going to everything and, you know, be active.
I mean, it has
But-
to be sustainable.
I mean,
Yeah. But
to be real, half these shows are like not even.
yeah, see,
the
that's
show
the other
time.
thing because to be honest with you, like,
You gotta pick and select
yeah,
what shows you go to. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it's true because, you know, a lot of it is waste of time.
Yeah.
And then I think another essential thing right now is that like we didn't do before, that I feel like we didn't really have to do because we kind of had like the clout and the status and we were producing nice dogs and stuff like that. But now I feel like if you have a super nice dog, put it in the ring. But beforehand, you know, I would never. You would have caught me dead in the fucking ring.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I never really liked that. The times that I put the dogs in the ring, it's been more like, I'll do it for you. Let me grab a bitch and I'll put it in there.
Right.
And it's happened a few times with me, shit, where I'm like, I don't even care. Like,
But see, I feel like it's becoming more necessary now.
no, and I see it because you know, the little bit that I run into the Instagram, I kind of do see that.
Yeah.
You know, especially what you were talking about earlier about the tournament with the dogs. Like, you know, it's something that I'm like, what if I put the bitch in? I'm like, I know that, you know, it's definitely looks better than most of these dogs or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess what I get discouraged is just like, you know, I'm into the structure.
Yeah.
And if it was just a structure thing, I think that I would be more okay with doing it.
Yeah.
But when you start introducing color with structure, I've never liked that topic because
Yeah.
it's two different mentalities.
Yeah.
And you're never gonna see eye to eye. Like I look at a colored dog and I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
it's almost frustrating to me. Like fuck, like I'm over here working, doing all this and this and that, and I'm like, what do you see in that dog other than the fucking paint job?
Right. The paint jobs though, the structure is getting better on them.
It's getting better,
It's getting
but
better.
if you put a colored dog,
You know, or like even like there's some fucking nice fluffies out there. I hate to say it, fucking cut that out. But there's some decent ones like that dude Justin.
Justin,
He
that
takes
bitch
it.
is
He has a
bad,
nice
bro.
fucking female.
That bitch
She's
is
see,
fucking
I'm
nice.
so touch that.
That bitch is
Yeah,
bad.
like the guy that runs the off the leash media page.
Oh, okay.
He has a bitch named Fortune Cookie.
Yeah, he has a fluffy. She's super nice. I'm sure there's other nice ones out there. I don't really pay attention to them too much, but you know they have gotten better. Is what I'm saying. With that being said, you will never catch me walking a fluffy. Like you know what I'm saying? It's just not.
We calling
it's-
it.
it's-
We're gonna bring to a fluffy next week.
I agree.
But you know, yeah, you know, we say it often on this channel. Tweets are on.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited for, you know, the game. Even with the L's that we've taken, we also have, you know, me and him. I also cone some other females and stuff, and I have like a fresh batch of females, like literally never been bred females, all about to come up. Like it's about to be time. So what?
My bitches are lagging.
Oh yeah, no.
It's crazy though, because both the sisters are in heat though. And my
Yeah.
bitches are lagging.
So we have a, you know, there's some fresh meat coming that I'm excited to breed and you know I'm gonna do some things. I'm gonna do some things with these. So we'll see how it goes and pray for me. Pray for us because yeah, like I said, the L's been heavy and we try to keep it going, you know, in a positive direction.
You only got 3 dogs right now?
At my house. Then we got some at Chris's house. And honestly, there was a couple of dogs that I just kind of placed some pet homes that anybody else would have died to be like, fuck it, let me get her.
Yeah.
But, you know, time is something that I value. Like I think it's hard for me to explain how important time it is for me that I just figure, okay, this dog, I mean, one of them was Chevy. The dog, like, it's just been kind of hard to breed her every time I get singletons, and it's like,
Yeah. Is it worth the time?
yeah. And honestly, there's been a couple times, which we still have it, but it's one of those where like, I don't know, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Because you go through all the hassle, bro. Like, I mean, you know, late nights, making the fucking drive to go pick up the semen, coming back, doing the breeding, putting all that work and the time, and then just to find out, okay, there's one, and you're excited about it, and then boom, what just happened? Open her up, left. Or we open her up, and the dog dies within 3 days. You're like, fuck, I just lost an entire, 60-something days plus a 4 sleepless nights. And like, damn it. So dogs like that, for me, it's come to where, like, is it worth it? Because it could be very worth it, like, fuck, if it works out. But, yeah, right now I'm at a point where, like, I just, my time is very valuable.
So
And
with,
it sucks.
with those 3 bitches you got at home, are you doing anything with Dawn, or are you going out?
See, Dawn is one of those dogs that early on, I understood that, when breeders, we always talk about one thing, and it's like, man, like, there's certain features and qualities in certain dogs you're like, fuck, like, I wish I could bring this back, or,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like when early on, I always, our story's like, fuck, I lost my dog, I lost this stuff. So I wanted to get some, free some semen, and I have a lot of it still. So it's something that I do plan on using Dawn, and it has crossed my mind on using Dawn on some of these bitches, but
Not in a rush.
Not in a rush. I just like to know that I have the access to it. So even if it's gone tomorrow, like that,
Got straws.
yeah, we got straws for a long time. So it's one of those dogs that I'm definitely planning on, I will use it.
Yeah.
I just don't know when. For me, there's a lot of quality dogs out there that I want to gamble on.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how things go, but not for sure. We kind of made sure that, he's going to be around for years to come.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because it'll be fun to play with.
Yeah.
Say even 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Because
Because honestly, like, we go back to what we talked about earlier, the quality of bitches that he got bred to at the time.
Yeah.
We're at this level.
Yeah. Not even close.
Yeah. Now, who knows if it's going to work?
Right.
But
That's what I'm saying. It'll be fun to play with and experiment.
because imagine if it does, and he does that next level shit that he did, I'll be kind of excited to see that.
Yeah.
So I have access to that and it has crossed my mind. I just don't know how I'm going to handle it once these females come in and heat. The things that I feel like the game has been lacking, and I mean, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's that business mentality.
Well,
That nobody ever talks about.
that's out the window, bro. That business mentality, like you were carrying it, that's out the window right now.
No, and I'm not talking about big numbers like that.
Yeah. I feel it, but people aren't carrying it because the money's not there. And I feel like the money's not there for everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But think about it this way, like even with the podcast, once you bring in that business mentality, it can take you anywhere on anything.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, all right, so I'm going to give you a little, I guess, backstory on me. And this is before I learned business. I started cutting hair when I was in middle school. Never thought anything of it. Because to me, I just thought, like, oh, I'm giving out haircuts for $3-5. I mean, what are you going to make with that? But then I was given the opportunity to work at a barbershop, and I saw an open market. I mean, honestly, when it comes to Merced, the barber game, it's on another level.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Same thing with the dogs.
Yeah.
But once you know how to apply the business mentality to anything you do, bro, you can do so much shit.
Right.
And I'm not talking about, the big numbers and everything, but just, learning the like in this case, you guys know the game from freaking head to toe.
Yeah. I think what we could say is that the business model creates the market rather than the other way. The market doesn't create the business model. The business model creates the market. And if you can apply the correct business model, you can thrive in any market.
I mean, you guys approve of that?
Yeah.
I mean, right now anybody can sit here and preach you, I ain't selling dogs.
Yeah.
I ain't doing this. And you guys have proof that you guys are still getting the money.
Yeah.
That it was being, made in 21,
Right.
20.
Yeah.
So when you're telling me that the business is not there, it's there.
Yeah.
You guys are proof of that. And it's just how you apply. Honestly, there's a couple things that you probably are not seeing on your end that you're probably considering it almost luck, like, oh shit, I got this for this dog. But you doing things without realizing it, sometimes you let that opportunity slip out of your hands, and then you never really see the
technical difficulties. We'll get back to it. So, what were we on?
we're on the business aspect, where you guys were saying that
Yeah,
there's no business model.
A lot of people not taking that business side serious. I feel like.
No, and it's not, and it's always going to be the same thing because I mean, you look at it like just from a different perspective outside of the dog game. How many people run businesses? Actually,
I mean, they do, but
Successful.
not successful.
or
legal
basically,
businesses.
how many people can keep, run a successful business? I guess.
Yeah.
And in this dog game, it's one of those things where if you get lucky, cool, but there has to be some business model to it. But it doesn't have to really involve, money or anything like that. But it's the way you structure your breedings to where how are you gonna capitalize on that? And that's one of the things that honestly the dog game lacks. Because look at the big picture. How many people are at the top? And by the top, I'm not talking about money wise, but like at the top where they're doing it over and over and over again. I guarantee you, there's a business model.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the ability to produce nice dogs over and over and over. Like there's a blueprint to that. Yeah. So it's not everybody has it.
And honestly, I've always said it. There's gonna be bosses and there's gonna be workers.
Yeah.
And it goes same thing. It applies to the doggy. Because there's always gonna be breeders and then there's gonna be buyers.
But at least I lose them in my hands, you know? I just said it earlier. At 15 puppies, I'm down to 6 puppies.
But all that experience, all the time and effort, you know that they just sometimes it's luck.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like completely out of your hands and like there's nothing you could do, or it's like to a point where it's like there's just nothing you can do. So
it hurts, but you know that
you
tried.
Yeah.
You tried, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm slacking on my fucking puppies, but it just fucking died.
Which also I feel like a lot of people
killed my puppy too.
Oh yeah, well, never mind. It was 16 puppies. So I'm down to. I killed 10 puppies.
and that's one of the things too that I feel like a lot of people that never because I was one of them early on.
Yeah.
It sounds fucking like damn, that sounds fucking tough, scary, but it ain't. It ain't. And to be honest with you, like Stat said it, I remember him telling me they're dogs. They're not fucking babies.
Mm-hmm.
I still live by the fact that like healthy dogs are gonna survive.
Right. And honestly, like I said, it's not that difficult. Like if you're out there listening and you think like, fuck, should I give it a try? Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it ain't difficult. I mean, trust me, you're gonna have a couple of sleepless nights, but
if you have the time, put in the effort. It's worth it.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're gonna have your horror stories like he's going through right now, but we've also had countless, litters that were completely fine and did fine, So
Yeah, if you have the time and you know that.
Shit, you lost the whole litter too, huh?
There we go.
I just remember that. Huh?
Yeah. You talking about recently?
Yeah.
Lost the whole fucking litter. But I was also I lost like 3/4 of them when we were in Puerto Rico, so I didn't technically lose.
Yeah, but
It
it's
was
just
pretty fun though.
Yeah, it was I had a little
And I haven't heard you really complain about the litter, so I'm assuming you probably had a good time out there.
time.
You're not really minding it.
No, it's I'm not a complainer. I'm not a complainer, so it just I'm not gonna. I mean, you guys know me. I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk.
And
it's a
honestly,
wrap, it's a
with
wrap.
puppies, it's one of those things that I learned that if you lose a dog, it kind of sucks and it does hurt.
Yeah.
But honestly, again, like sometimes you think that puppy is the one, and the ones that make it, sometimes it didn't turn out to be, what you thought it was gonna be. So for me, losing puppies, like it sucks,
Yeah.
but it ain't a big deal. Now,
Yeah.
if I lose a dog, an adult dog,
Yeah.
that right there got
Hurts.
I
Yeah.
just lost all that time.
4-month-old puppy.
Yeah, see, that's 4 months that you'll never get back on a dog that you're like, fuck, that might be.
You're already counting too. Like you're already counting that dog. When you have little puppies, you're like, you're hoping for the best. You're
Yeah.
hoping.
For me,
But if one drops off at 10 days
days,
old, like it's like,
Fuck.
It
yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah, no, for me, it's always been that 10-day mark.
I walked out the house, went to In-N-Out. It was like 8:30, come back. It's like 10:30. Boom. Fucking dog just dead in the fucking creek. I have no clue what the fuck happened to
Probably hungry.
the dog. He just said
One of the puppy patties from In-N-Out. In the litter that I lost, don't get me wrong, like I really wanted that litter because it was off of a female that's never gonna get bred again, super old, off of a top tier stud. It was not by any means a fucking backyard bullshit breeding. It was a breeding that I really fucking wanted, and it just
I think for, on losses like that, it's the big if. The ifs that you're never gonna, figure out if that would have been it.
that was one of the times I should have utilized the Wilbur. While I was gone, should have fucking pulled some strings and fucking called my favorite whelpers. But, you win some, you lose some. I lost that one.
part of this. For me, it's part of this fucking
Yeah. I mean, L's are part of the game. You know, like I was saying earlier, not all of those are part of it. Some L's are your fucking fault. You know what I'm saying? Some L's are your fucking fault, and it's not part of the game. You know, that term like chalk it to the game is like it's used loosely. You know, because it's easy to say that, but you know, some L's you have to, I guess, you know, take responsibility for. You can't chalk it to the game. It's your fucking fault.
And those are the ones that hurt the most. Be like, fuck, it was a dumb mistake.
Yeah.
That you never saw it coming because obviously, you know, sometimes we do shit that we're like, it ain't never gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say anything preventable, you can't chalk to the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With some of the puppies and stuff, it's not preventable. It's just, you know, it happens or whatever. You didn't. Yeah, you know. Obviously, you never see a bad thing coming. You probably wouldn't fucking have done it. But you know, the ones that you know better. Those are the ones that hurt. You know better. You take an L. But it is what it is. It's life. We make mistakes, you know.
You text me something earlier. Fuck. What'd you say? It just. You said something to me. It really stuck to me. What was it? In the morning when you told me.
Yeah.
Good morning.
What's for breakfast?
It was crazy though. I was telling my girl last night. I was like, hey, I'm about to do the TikTok viral. I'm about to call Stats. I'm like, what's up, bro? I'm going to bed.
Sorry, good night.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. Good night. What you say?
You texting too much.
That was this morning. You still scrolling?
Oh, yeah.
Damn it.
It's just crazy, bro. We just gotta keep pushing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's always my answer. You know? That's always my answer to everybody.
Hey, you know what's funny? You say that? Because I remember like 2 years ago, my boy Chooch, I know he called me and he's like, bro, like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I think I want to sell everything. I was like, you know how many times I've heard that?
Yeah. That's when I lost Corella too. I hated that. It was the same thing. I thought she was pregnant. The bitch was fucking blowing up with pyometric. Caught it too fucking late.
Fat ass
It-
litter.
Yeah. And it goes back to like, we know better, you know what I mean? Like you said it could have been preventable. I took her to the vet and he sold me a dream. He sold me a treatment for $1,000. I took the treatment. When he's like, or not, we could just fucking open her up and stay her. I'm like, nah, I really need this. I'll get that treatment.
Yeah.
The treatment didn't work.
I remember when I was young in the game, Pi Mitro was one of those things where like, if you got it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that was a consensus back then.
Yeah.
Until, you know, you started talking to the older, you know, seasoned breeders and like, no, there's ways around this.
Still there is.
Yo, absolutely. I mean, fuck. I've dealt with that a couple of times. And I've never lost a dog because of Pi Mitro.
Right. I've had successful litters
After
post pilot.
Yeah. There used to be a vet in Oakland, Dr. Tan. You take him the bitch, you open her up, and he'll fucking clean the bitch from the inside out. Just clean that bitch out. And then the bitch will be fine.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Usually the vets are against it. Have you
No,
ever heard
Dr.
of
Tan was
this?
savage.
That bitch
You
is
heard Dr. Tan before. He was one of the best. He used to cook one of the best doctors like in the Bay. He was in Oakland. And he used to do a pyometric treatment. He used to open the bitch up and clean her out. Suck all that shit out and clean that shit out. Put her in some antibiotics and the bitches, majority of the time, a lot of bitches, like he helped a lot of people with that treatment. But not a lot of vets do that out here. Like, I don't think none do out here.
Yeah, right. Any vets around here and stuff like that are very pro, you know, spay and neuter. You're not gonna get very many breeder friendly, you know, vets other than the ones that we like personally know. Like, you know, I don't want to put names out there, but yeah.
You know, it's I mean, fuck. I mean, if you're here in Merced, I don't know any vets here in Merced that are, you
Like
know,
breeder friendly.
yeah, breeder.
Yeah.
I don't even think they do projections around here. None of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's one. I think Byron does.
Does it?
I think so. But could be talking out of my ass too. But I think he does. Yeah, I think think we had a good pod, boys.
Mhm.
Good dog conversation.
Before we go, Sal, best advice you could give to a newbie?
Yeah. On the spot's
That's a lot.
Just
give us something.
Something.
Anything.
I mean, I would say, one, don't do it for the money. I'm gonna give two. Don't do it for the money. And if you're doing it for the money, you're absolutely doing it for the wrong reasons. Those breeders don't last. One thing that every successful breeder has in common, they love it. Money will follow. It always does. You just have to be smart, because a lot of breeders, they have nice fucking dogs out there, don't know how to, market themselves, or don't really know how to price their work.
Yeah.
So
We'll make another one.
I'll make another one. But two, stick to your guns. Trust me. And honestly, just stick to your guns and don't be kennel blind. Because once you're blinded, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
shit.
wrap.
Kennel blindness is a
#1 killer.
it's a terrible disease, and it runs rampant
Yeah.
in the breeder community.
This killed a lot of camps.
Killed a lot of camps.
And the craziest part is that, honestly, they have the product. But once you get blinded,
Yeah.
it's a matter of time.
So wear a condom.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out to our sponsors, everybody that rocks with us. We're gonna keep them coming. Drop a comment, like when we drop our clips, and let us know, who you guys would like to see on here. Also, we'll try to make that happen. Appreciate you guys.